Okay, now you finished your season off well. You guys went 7-3. You went over 1,900 yards. Who is your best teammate that you ever played with, and why?
Best teammate. Well, I really can't say just one.
Okay.
I could say a couple of guys. One of the best teammates I've had, as far as like what are you asking? Like teammates, as far as like on the field, or teammates like as far as somebody that kick it? You know what I'm saying? Like somebody
No,
that
I'm talking
they
about on the field,
on the field.
grinding, blood, sweat, tired, heart.
Matthew Trellan is probably one of the hardest working guys I've ever been on the team with. I mean, this guy stayed in the weight room. He always was there. First one there, last one gone. Like he was just one of those guys that was there and just a flat out athlete. Jamie Stewart was possibly one of the best teammates I've ever had for his ability to play any position, corner, safety, wide receiver, quarterback. He could get in the backfield, run the ball. Like he was just an all-purpose guy. Aaron Spiller, a guy who just had a nose for the football, somebody that was just always around, and I mean, he had hands out of this world as well. I mean, I would say anybody that was a part of that five-headed monster, that's what we called ourselves, is the skill position. Like those guys, we just went out there and we wanted to perform. So I think everybody on that team really was just, we did our thing.
Best team you played against, or who you consider your worst rival or your hardest rival.
Portage. Portage, Antoine Brown he was just a flat out beast, man. The guy he was huge, his legs were like tree trunks. I mean, the guy was just fast, he did with his thing. But Portage was always a fundamentally sound team, even though they kept the grass a little high so we couldn't run as fast. But they're a good team, man, fundamentally sound. They made sure they made tackles, they knew their assignments. That I could always say Portage was always a solid team every time we played against them.
Best player you ever played against in high school.
James Aldridge from Maryville. Um,
Okay.
Moose, that's what they call him. Went to Notre Dame, 6'1", about 215 at the time. The guy could flat out run. I mean, it didn't matter who was there. You could put 8, 9 in the box. He's gonna get about 5 to 7 yards every time he touched it. It was just that was the type of impact that he had, and that was the type of player he was. Um, yeah, James Aldridge, and it was a guy from Chicago, Leo. His last name was Benjamin. Like this cat, from his junior year to his senior year, I think he put on at least a good 20 pounds.
Mm.
And like this dude could flat out run, man. He was a hell of an athlete. So those two guys for sure.
Okay. Now this is the good topic right here. I got some questions for you about your career and why it's not getting due respect. But before I hit that, I want to talk about who you think is the best players at each position, and then I'm gonna hit that topic as far as you. Now, as far as quarterback, who you believe is the best quarterback in Central history?
Keon Frazier was possibly the best quarterback out there. He made a lot of plays with his arm, with his feet. He was a pretty smart guy. And he was a competitor. He was an athlete. He played basketball. He played football. So he was there. But I would want to put another person in the mix. His name Dave Rodriguez. I would like to say he's probably the strongest arm quarterback I've ever seen. I mean, we used to be in practice standing at the 50-yard line. He'll throw it through the the up post, man. It was just crazy stuff like that. But those two for sure.
Fullback.
Fullback, Jeremy Kelly. He was undersized, but he made sure that you got a good pop. You was gonna get a good pop. He made sure that he knew all the plays. He made sure that he took care of his assignment. So I say Jay Kelly.
Wide receiver.
Wide receiver, Keon Jackson, Action Jackson. That man made plays, man. He was like an Anquan Bolden type. He'll take the tough yards. He'll get into the mix, and he'll make some stuff happen. But once again, I have to say my boy Jamie Stewart. I've seen this guy.
Okay, so who you saying is the best, Keon or Jamie?
It depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a guy that's
Okay,
like,
you got one game, you a player, and you want one wide receiver with you, Super Bowl. Who you want?
I'm going Stu, man. Taller guy, probably a little bit quicker. I mean, the hands are about equal, but I'll go Stu, man. Hands down. Hands down.
Okay. O-lineman.
O-lineman. I've heard about Rob Smith, Big Rob Smith. I've heard stories about Dino. I've heard stories about a lot of those guys. I don't want to put any ruffles underneath anybody, but I don't really think that anybody who's on my offensive line can equal up with any of those guys. Speaking, Tom Lukowski, those guys were huge. They did their thing. They put their stamp on the game. I'm not saying that my offensive line weren't good at what they did, but as far as those guys concerned, there's no equal in that. So,
D-line.
D-line. Juan Short. A lot of people. He was a freshman when I was a senior, and I knew the cat was going to be good then. We're in practice one day, and we're going through plays and stuff, and he's the only one tackling. He's back. He's in the backfield every time, and I'm like, who's going to block this guy? That he's just amazing, man. And Kevin Alvarado, who's at Bowling Green right now, he started off young with us too as well, and he became a player, and he did his thing. I like Kevin's game, so those two guys for sure.
Linebacker.
Dante Smith, hands down. I mean, I don't. You could put Dante in any era, man. He's gonna ball out. He was big. He's fast. He had a nose for the ball. And honestly, I think he would have did better on the defensive side of the ball if he wouldn't have played running back. I think if they had a running back, it would have been really nasty to see what he did on the defensive side. He made
12 more tackles a game.
Exactly. He could have got 20 a game if it was like that. And Aaron Spiller. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm a little biased or whatever because I played with the guy, but he just had a nose for the football. He was always there. Like, I've seen this cat make like 5 straight tackles, and he's outside. He's playing outside, make a play on the other hash, and it's just stuff like that he did that just showed, the type of athlete that he was. He was real athletic, had great hands. I really feel like if he would have played the game a little bit more, he'd have been like solid. Like that was it. Yeah, he's those two for sure.
Corner.
Well, Jack again, Keon Jackson. I mean, I seen the cat catch like 4 or 5 interceptions in the game before. That was just crazy. He just locked down one side of the field. He was quick enough. He knew the angles. He knew what it took. He was a pretty good tackler. I go Keon Jackson. I mean, everybody else after that is just, I really don't know what to say.
Safety.
Kyan Gillis. Basketball player.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it was he didn't come out to play football till our junior year. He played with us when he was younger, but the guy was just instinctive on the field. Real good in coverage. He'll come up and make a tackle on the run. He was physical. I liked his game. Yeah, Kai Gillis. Yeah.
So as you notice, I left one position out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and I'm gonna get to this because a lot of people is not giving you your respect as one of the best running backs in the school history. Now, since I've been doing my little website, I asked everybody, who's the best running backs in school history? Of course, I hear Ping, Martell France, Royce Roberson, Aaron Smith, Dante Smith, Chris Broder. I never hear Sam Daniels. Why?
I didn't play in the glory days of East Chicago football. My coaching staff, I'm not trying to say they weren't equal to Coach Yagowski, but I think Coach Yagowski and Coach Richards brought a different type of knack to the game than what my coaching staff brought. Our offense was a lot different. I was in a spread offense where these guys were line it up, we're going to run it down your throat type offense, and those were the type of guys, they fit those systems. I fit my system. So.
But you had the single season yards record in school history. As far as career,
I got that as
most yards. So why do you think, besides the coaches, give me your honest opinion why you're not considered at least the top 3, top 2 of all time?
I was undersized. I'm 5'7". At the time I was about 170 pounds, 175 pounds. Our competition level, I think a lot of people felt wasn't as great. But even if you equate all that stuff into, I never had the offensive line those guys had, nor did I have the carries that those guys had, and I got the record. I'm pretty sure those guys have had probably at least 100 to 150 more carries than I had, and I have the record. So it just showed that every time I touched the ball, I had to do what I had to do. Yeah. So
makes them happy.
Yeah.
Okay. So who do you think is the best running back in Central history?
From what I saw, and
no, don't be humble what you saw.
No, okay.
Who do
I'm
you
gonna be honest. I'm gonna be definitely honest. I'm gonna say Ping was the best. I'm gonna say Ping was the best because he knew what he had to do. Like, this guy would come to the game, you know what I'm saying? He'll tell everybody, this is what's gonna go down. This is what it is. I've had conversations. Ping came to me and told me when I first came up to play. He told me, he said my uncle told him I was gonna be the one to break his record. And in that he helped me through that whole process. You know what I'm saying? So through that, and him being so humble to help me break his own record, I have to give him recognition. Royce was a good player too, speedy guy, big guy, you know what I'm saying, somebody that made plays as well. But if you're gonna ask my opinion, and this is just being real, as a competitor, I'm gonna say I'm the best. Because it would be wrong, and it would be it just stupid, plain stupid for me not to say that I am. From what I've experienced, what I've went through, and just taking it day by day, you know what I'm saying, I have to say I am, because I stepped on the field. I didn't have everything that those two guys, as far as offensive line is concerned, I didn't have it, I was good at what I was good at. I was a shifty kind of guy. I get in and out, you know what I'm saying? Those guys are more bruisers, or, as soon as they get the open field, they're out. I really had to shake and move to get things going, and, I had to say I worked the hardest, so I say I was the best.